Well, welcome to another edition of House Call with Dr. Scott. I'm Amy Cooper. This is Dr. Rick Wadge sitting next to me. Dr. Scott, what are we going to talk about today?
Good morning.
Well, we're going to talk about some of the repressed evidence that I've uncovered in my research because the pharmaceutical companies would have the American public believe that their drugs are the answer to preventing and treating things like strokes and heart attacks.
And they're not?
And they're not. Absolutely not. Despite all of the pharmaceutical intervention, all of the drugs that we're taking, cardiovascular disease is still the number one killer of the American public.
Is that right?
Yes,
Wow.
the number one killer.
Now, is it more impactful in the United States than other places in the world?
We probably have some of the highest rates of cardiovascular disease worldwide. Yes.
Is that because of our lifestyles or what?
Our lifestyle has a lot to do with it, Amy. Yes. And just to give you an idea of the scope of the problem, while we're filming this show, every 34 seconds, someone's having a heart attack.
I hope it's not one of us.
Yeah, it won't be. It won't be one of us. But that is phenomenal that every 34 seconds, someone
That's a lot.
in America is having a heart attack. And 250,000 of these individuals that have heart attacks will die before they reach the hospital.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
250,000 people that are going to drop dead.
That is not good news.
Not good news at all. And the American Heart Association estimates that 50 million Americans are running around with high blood pressure or hypertension. And you turn on the TV and you can see on a daily basis all of the advertising that's aimed at people with cardiovascular disease and especially high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be a lot of factors involved that would bring a person to the point of having this kind of concern for their lifestyles and also their health. So
Exactly, yep. And a lot of this is preventable, but what's even more important, a lot of this is literally reversible. And that's something that the American public is not being told. And we're going to explore and look at some of these issues. For example, the biggest moneymaker for the pharmaceutical companies are the statin drugs. And those are aimed primarily at reducing cholesterol levels.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't tell the American public is that 50% of all of the Americans that are having heart attacks have normal cholesterol levels. But if you were to believe that the commercials that the drug companies come up with, you would be believing that, well, it's all because of cholesterol. That's what's causing the problem.
What is causing the problem?
There's a multitude of factors, and in order to understand the scope of what causes cardiovascular disease, we have to go back to the Framingham study. And this is a study that was conducted in the United States for 20 years. It started in 1949, and those individuals had clinical exams every 2 years during those 20 years. And there was over 5,000 men and women who participated in the study. They ranged in ages from 30 to 62 years of age. And every one of those individuals were free of coronary heart disease.
When the study began?
When the study began.
Okay.
So when they followed them over a 20-year period, a very clear picture began to emerge as to what could possibly lead to coronary heart disease and heart attacks.
That's
And
interesting.
Isn't that interesting? And so they actually identified risk factors. And those risk factors are things that probably most of us are pretty much familiar with. And one of the primary risk factors is high blood pressure.
Mm.
I was thinking when you're watching those ads for the drugs on TV, that they tell you take it for this, and then they list all of those things that can go wrong, like your head might fall off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, well, if you're taking those for high blood pressure, I don't think it's really going to help because you're really going to be worried about your head falling off. Just a thought.
It is true. The warnings are pretty scary.
And a lot of the patients that come in that are on hypertension medication because their blood pressure is just out of control, they have so many other symptoms. And when you go to the physician's desk, the PDR reference, and open up the page to the drug that they're taking, pretty much 9 out of 10 of all of the symptoms that they're having are side effects from the medication.
Oh my goodness.
From the blood pressure medication.
If you enjoyed this clip, please feel free to check out the full version in the link located in the description panel below. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. As always, help yourself to the diverse array of teachings located on this YouTube channel or on our website at glc.us.com.